Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
My name is Princess Somojumi Ademola. I'm with my colleagues.
I'm Kaztechtv from Kaztechtv.
So we are here in the office of our Excellency. That is who everybody knows well. Both in all Nigeria knows him. That is our man, the best man of our time when we talk about standing for PDP, Engr.Adedeji.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine, sir.
Name is Adedeji Doherty.
Okay, this is our chairman, Adedeji Doherty.
Yes.
The chairman, Southwest PDP, Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
So good evening, sir.
Good evening.
We're in your office today. Can we just meet you, let the Nigeria know who you are again, because we are not strange to Nigeria people.
Well, my name is Engr.Adedeji Doherty. I was the former state chairman of the People's Democratic Party in Lagos, and also a former organizing secretary and financial secretary of the party in the zone. By the grace of God, I was also the acting deputy national secretary of the party a few months ago, until after the elections, when I emerged as the national vice chairman for the Southwest Zone. Happy to meet you.
Thank you very much. We heard that your last convention, we can see that there's different thing, and we did your own fashion. We see there's good thing comes out in PDP. So can you just let Nigeria, just tell us the secret behind it?
Well, we thank God for our leaders in the party, especially our national leader, Barrister, His Excellency Barrister Nyesom Wike. A successful convention, not a roadside convention or an Amala convention. We had a real genuine convention where a lot of all the states were visibly seen at the convention in Abuja. And after that convention, by the grace of God, we have also moved our office back to the Wadata Plaza, where we thank God for the secretary, the national secretary and the national chairman, who have put quite a lot of their personal resources in making sure that the office of the PDP, which is a symbol of the longevity of the party, still stands. So we have moved into Wadata. We have had a couple of meetings there. We have already had one or two candidates that have come to visit us there. For instance, is the candidate Oloede from Ekiti State. He has come to show his loyalty and also his interest in the party, and we have welcomed him. You understand? We also have a former Attorney General of the Federation, Ndwaka, that has joined also our party. And we have quite a lot of people that were on the other side before, like His Excellency McAfee, you understand, that has joined us in the party. We have Natasha from Kogi State that has joined. We have quite a lot of people that have joined the party. And in the Southwest also, we're having quite a lot of people and aspirants that thought that ADC was the place to be, you understand, that are coming to join us in the People's Democratic Party, both on the in South-South, in Owerri. For instance, this weekend, we received a former deputy governor. We also have quite a lot of people come in the South-South, in the Southeast, and in the Southwest. So I think we are moving on slowly but surely, and I believe that PDP is on a trajectory that will be positive, and definitely Nigerians will see that we are for them and will continue being for them.
So what confidence can you give your people from Oyo State? Because your people from Oyo State, many of them are claiming that they can't work for Sheyi because of what she is doing, imposing on them. And you, as a new PDP, as a PDP member, and you are a chairman, and now what do you have to tell the people that for the confidence to have against it, because the way she is treating them, parading himself, being on post. So what is your own? So
well, yeah, thank you very much for that question. The sitting governor of Oyo State is still a member of the People's Democratic Party. However, we have our reservations about him. When we see a situation whereby the president releases between 30 and 50 billion to you for disaster, and you can't give serious accounts about it, it becomes something shameful to us as a political party. You understand? And I don't think it is something that we want to beat our chest about. I hope he's able to settle the rift he also has with the Olubadan of Ibadan, His Excellency Kabisi Ladoja. You understand? We also hope he can rectify and make peace with a lot of the factions he worked against in Oyo State. You know, we have people like Mulika, we have people like Elaka, we have people like Bolarumi. You understand? You know, so if people like Bolarumi and co are feeling aggrieved and everything, I believe that the only right thing to do is really talk to them and try and bring them on board. However, everybody has a different style in politics, and I wish the governor of Oyo State good luck in whatever he's doing, but he should always remember that the law of karma still exists, and that's all I can say about that for now.
Elias, send a signal to our man with some wiki, the PDP, eyes Obi and Kwankwaso. What is your reaction to the? Because the day first they had Elias has a meeting with a closed door meeting. So coming out, making this.
He had who had a closed door meeting?
Elias.
Okay. So, well, you know, a lot of people have closed door meetings everywhere. Yesterday, he had a meeting with this gentleman you're talking about. But today, he's over at the opposition party conference in Ibadan. You understand? Which we don't have anything to do with that conference. We are far from it. Our national leader has not approved such. PDP does not have any coalition with any political party for now until a direct decision is taken by the national leadership. You understand? Which I am part of. As a member of the NWC, I more or less oversee the entire Southwest Zone where this meeting took place. As of today, we are not aware. We distance ourselves from such a meeting. PDP is not in a group coalition to ousted anybody. You understand? We do not have any memorandum of understanding. You understand? We don't have any memorandum of understanding with any political party, be it ADC, NMPC, Labour, or any other political party. I doubt even if Labour is part of that coalition. But having said that, I believe that the planners of that symposium, or whatever you can call it, already know what they're trying to gun at. You understand? For it to even happen in Ibadan, I'm really extremely disappointed that some particular leaders who have run for president before and who have been more or less embarrassed by the governor of Oyo State in the past are able to walk themselves back to Ibadan again, you know, which is quite shocking to me. You understand? And I believe that, well, we see a lot of things in politics, and these are one of those things. But like I said, and I'll say again, we distance with the People's Democratic Party, which I represent, you understand, which does not have a faction, because by law today, we are the People's Democratic Party.
So
we occupy Wadata. Do you understand? And as such, the journalists and everybody involved should please stop talking about these factions or no factions. You have imposters, you understand, that these people are parading around. You understand? And as imposters, you understand, you just by the journalists fanning them, it creates more and more problem. But you know, we are very sure that at the end of the day, this will end very soon, and sooner than you really expect. You understand? Because if you look at what the governor of Oyo State is doing again, all other Governor Bala is not doing that. All the other governors are not doing that. You know, where you are picking consensus candidates all over the state, giving them certificates of returns and everything. So, you know, it's very disheartening, very disturbing that a governor will sit and be picking candidates like that. That's not democracy. You understand? And it has never been the style of our national leader, Governor Wike, to do this kind of thing the way this gentleman is doing, which is the governor of Oyo State. So we are taking this opportunity to let the governor of Oyo State know that whatever he's doing it at his own peril. You understand? As the national vice chairman of the Southwest, I would like to tell the governor the party is supreme this time around. The party will not take this kind of actions sitting, and I hope he has a fallback, because we would not accept anything that comes out of illegality in the People's Democratic Party today. We would also take this opportunity to let the good people of Oyo State know that the good people of the People's Democratic Party in Oyo State, that there is a Professor Akeosho that is the state chairman of the party. He controls, manages the party on behalf of the national, and he will blow the whistle when it is time, and that will be on the instructions of the national headquarters. So anybody that believes that they have a certificate of return from a kangaroo primary or kangaroo consensus building or agreement is definitely wasting his time.
Okay, thank you very much. So come 2027, what do you think Lagos should expect from you?
Well, coming from me in Lagos State, for Lagos State is a very dynamic state. I've contested about 3 or 4 times in Lagos State. They were more or less boggled by our internal incohesion, our failure to practice internal democracy. However, we thank God that Governor Wike has come to straighten out the party. As far as democracy is concerned, internal democracy and everything, we're on top of the subject right now in the People's Democratic Party. In the People's Democratic Party today, you might not be a nobody, but you might be popular. You will definitely get to that crescendo in your political journey, because it's not about money, it's not about anything, it's going to be about numbers and popularity. Having said that, I would just like to take an opportunity to let the governor of Lagos State know that a lot of people can talk, but a lot of damage is being done by the Lagos state government against the second-term bid of Mr. President. This is not the time to throw out banters concerning the tax on solar powered generated electricity. This is not the time to increase taxes. This is not the time for you to be asking for increment in taxes, to be writing letters to all and sundry concerning taxes, especially in the business community. You understand? The income of Lagos State has almost quadrupled over the past 2 years or 3 years. You understand? Mr. President has increased the purse of the Lagos State government. You understand? They correct me if I'm wrong. You understand? But Lagos State FARC now is going in almost 100 and something billion. You understand? Or even more than that, as a matter of fact, if I get my facts right. But I need to get it right. But right now, Lagos State is also in the internal revenue. You understand, has risen now to almost 1.2 trillion. You understand? If you have these massive monies coming from FARC and coming from internal revenue, you should be able to make Lagos State a Dubai. You understand? And this has always been the problem that we have been facing. However, I believe that Mr. President is looking at this very critically. I believe that the necessary discussions will be done. I believe that things must get better. I believe that Mr. President has tried his best, you understand, in terms of making sure that he cuts fuel subsidy, you understand, and has translated it into more money for the governors to pay their bills, you understand, and to create infrastructure within the state, you understand. So, what are the infrastructures that have come up in Lagos State? We have 26 islands in Lagos State. What are the tertiary schools? What are the secondary schools? What are the universities that have been built in Lagos State over the past 30 years? You understand? Is the blue line and red line, is it really what they say it is? Do you understand? What is the dream? How have the youths, how have they been seeing themselves after school? You understand? After graduation, do they get jobs? You understand? How many companies have closed down in Lagos State within the past 3 years? For different reasons, especially after the COVID. You understand? Now, what are our roads like? Not to say that the Lagos State government has not done anything at all, but let us be quite clear that the areas where they have performed is much less than the areas where they have really not done too well. And in not doing too well in Lagos State, it creates a problem for Mr. President at the national level. You understand? And yes, if you know, Mr. President comes from our own zone. So we are interested in making sure that Mr. President succeeds. You understand? And the way that you can show that you are with him for him to succeed is for you to perform, you understand, in your state, so that those that are going to vote, where you have 25 thereabout million people, you understand, will vote towards Mr. President because he has given you the tools to do it. He has even gone as far as even begging you, you understand, to wet the grass. What does he mean by that? You understand? So if he has given you the money, look at Bielsa. It was a PDP state. He gave them support, serious support. Akwa Ibom, PDP state. He gave them serious support. He did not even look at it that maybe they were PDP. or maybe they're from the opposing party.
Okay.
He supported them. This is what melted the minds of these governors. You understand? Look at Zamfara. You understand? Look at the South, look at the Southeast. You understand? You see a lot of them that have moved to the APC. You understand? And why is that? It's because Mr. President has been listening to them. Mr. President has been taking care of their needs. You understand? And he has been, look at the students themselves. He had to come up with loan for students. You understand? So as he is putting money in the pockets of governors, it is for the governors to translate that into a positive effect and positive feeling from the people to the president. You understand? Because the president is making it available to them. Look at an example is Oyo State, where the governor is from PDP. You understand? Who will ever believe that Mr. President will give an opposition state, you understand, close to between 30 and 50 billion for disaster? Do you understand? Yes. At the end of the day, that money is not seen or felt by those that have that the president released that money to. So what do you want us to do in this kind of case? Look at the Lagos-Calabar coastal road. You understand? That is a game changer. I was going to a piece of land in Lekki, in Okwaja. For the past 20 years, I've been going there. It takes me almost the whole day. I have to take Lekki 1, Lekki 2, go through the markets, go through everywhere, get to Engr.Adedeji and start traveling. It took me right now, I get on the coastal road. Within 10 minutes, I'm already in Okwaja. So you can see the commercial value of all the land on that stretch going up. And he's already creating the Badagry Sokoto. Yes, again, these are projects that have been in the pipeline for so long that have not been completed. You understand? And I can tell you, a second time for Mr. President, we'll see a fast train going on these same 2 lanes. You understand? How would you like it to be living in Calabar and be working in Lagos?
Yes.
Do you understand? You know, how would you like it to be living in probably Ilorin? You understand? And the rail stops there, and you're working in Lagos. You understand? So, where I'm going is very simple. You understand? When we see a change, and that is a change, do you understand? Then, with what we see and what the national leader has trained us to look at is a holistic view of Nigeria and how Nigeria is being managed. You understand? In terms of infrastructure, in terms of education, in terms of health, in terms of business patronage, in terms of the different things, the old people, the pensions. Do you understand? You know, the pensioners. You understand? All these things are things that, in my view, are things that are positive, are things that should be looked at, are things that I believe we should use as an assessment of the past, this administration of the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President. You understand? So I believe also that yes, the PDP can bring up a candidate and everything. You understand? Yes, but at the end of the day, let us see your CV and let us match it. You understand? Let us be serious about Nigeria. It's not really about political parties. Let us be serious about Nigeria for now. Do you understand? Later on, the political landscape can change and then we start looking better.
Thank you very much.